My name's Teresa Shaver. I'm the Executive Director of the Business Advisory Center Durham. If I haven't met some of you before, really nice to meet you now. It's a tough time for a lot of businesses, but this is one way to keep yourself focused and keep yourself moving forward and taking action with whatever it is that you can do, even if it's something small. This is a great time for us to work on our business as opposed to in our business. I'll say that at BACD, we're all working remotely from our houses, so there's an adaptation for us, but we're busier than ever, and we're here to support you as businesses. So please reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to help. One of the new things we just set up was a business plan masterclass. So if any of you are looking to apply for any of the government programs that are out there and you need a business plan, I think it's 2.5 hours runs through how to put your business plan together. So if any of you want to attend that, please do. We also have at least 2 to 3 webinars scheduled for the next few weeks. Some of them are free and some are not. It all just depends on which business owner can give back some of their time and do a donation or not. So, but stay in touch with us, and if we can help you, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I will be here. I'm just going to be turning off my video and my mic as we get started. And today we have Angela Kafadar from Video Power Up. Angela first came to BACD about 2 years ago when she came to us with some ideas of workshops around video. And I now, more than ever, I think video is the single most important marketing tactic for 2020. And I've seen that everywhere. A lot of different organizations, different leaders out there have said that video is really important. So Angela's going to talk to us about video. And Angela, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Angela with Video Power Up, and for the last 15 years or so, I have been a video producer. Still doing that now, but just not on site with my clients at the moment. But a few years ago, I had a conversation with another leader in a business group, and they said, "Can you teach us how to use our cell phone to make videos?" And I was like, no, there's just so many things, and I can't really, teach what I know. And fast forward to 2020, we need to be teaching what we know, not just what we do, because it can be a great avenue for income. So I started years ago trying to translate how filmmaking and commercial making and video making could be taught to everybody with a cell phone who has video making capabilities. And so there's a lot of things that I know that were easily translated. Some of it wasn't so easily translated. And of course, it depends on the person I'm giving the information to and how much technical skills they already have versus they don't have. So if you've been doing Facebook Lives, this may just be a refresher. If you're one of the many, and there have been, because they've been reaching out to me, many people who have had do video on their to-do list for the last 2 or 3 years. Some of this may be fast. So there are so many different video strategies you can have for social media, and I've just got my little notes here so I don't get off topic, because that can happen really easily with me when I get excited about talking about video. So let's talk about some of those video strategies for online. Pre-recorded short videos that you put out onto your social media channels that build your authority, gain your followers. So that can be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, your website, TikTok, Snapchat. Oh my gosh, there's so many places. But don't worry if you are new to any of those things, or if you're like, even me, I still gravitate to Facebook. It has become even more so during kind of everybody being at home, the way to connect. So, you don't have to be in all of these places. It's really important for you to know. Pick the 1 or 2 that you're confident in and where your audience is. So those are some of the things you need to consider. Pre-recorded vlogs. So that's just an exact kind of replica. If you're a blogger or if you do blogging, you can do vlogs and post those on your website as well. And the great thing is, if you do a vlog, if you're a very natural speaker and it's easier for you to do a vlog, you can just caption it and turn it into a vlog later. Other types of videos people don't think of as well are interview videos, right? We see it on the news. Why can't we be doing And we can be, even on the news, everybody is doing their interviews from home. Nobody's getting together in studio anymore. So interview videos, having other experts, behind the scenes, tutorials. Tutorials are really great if you are a service provider. Let's say you make clothing for pets. You could do a tutorial on it, to keep right in front of your audience. Live videos are something that if you're not doing, you could be doing as well. And animated text, which is not what I want to talk about today, but doing animated text will hit the algorithm of the social media channels. So sometimes people are still shying away from being on camera, which you shouldn't, because being on camera is how you connect with people. It's the only way to connect with people when you can't meet face to face. Why is video so popular right now is because connection is what we're missing more than ever. We are missing our social time. We're missing our networking events. We're missing walking into an office and sitting down with someone one-to-one. So video is the only way to replicate that, for the reason, for those of you who were here in the beginning, that I said. So with communication and connection, which is really what we're talking about, you need to have more than words. People need to hear your tone. People need to see your body language. They really, that's how you connect with people faster than any other way. Now I'm going to go through some tips, and it really is right now. I'm talking about if you're afraid of connecting, if you're afraid of selling, if you're afraid for offering your service right now, don't have fear, because we're going to talk about how you can still connect and communicate, still talk about your services, because you know what? Your services may be not deemed necessary by the government as far as being out there and working, but they still may be necessary. Business is still happening. People still need things, right? People are still purchasing things. Are they different types of things? Yes, but they're still purchasing things. People still need to learn things. And so don't shy away. And I know if you've got kids at home, if you've got a spouse at home, my dog might bark, sorry, I'm at home with my dogs. It may be harder to focus on these things, but what we have now seems to be is more time. But how to communicate right now during this time, there's really two things. The first thing we need to do is really have empathy in this time and be able to communicate that. We might be in our own world and have our own problems and issues, but everyone is experiencing a different maybe anxiety or fear around this. So having empathy and just really being sensitive without being emotional, overly emotional, or letting go of your authority, right? And I know that may be coming out wrong for some of you, or maybe confusing. I guess what I'm saying is really just stand strong in who you are and what you know and how you help, while being sensitive and empathetic to what we are all going through right now. So those are the two real tips of communication, the two strong tips of communication when you're doing your videos. When you're doing anything, but in your videos, you definitely want to have those two things. So again, going back to serving without necessarily selling, but really be open to having that opportunity of a sale, be open to sharing what you have, be open to exchanging something, whether it's funds, whether you're exchanging services with someone. Just be open to staying in business and doing business and being at the forefront of people's minds. So thinking about now, other ways to communicate, how we have repackaged our product or the way we deliver our product or service. Maybe there's different groupings now of services or products that people need now that they haven't needed before. Maybe it's talking about future services or online services, or how you're changing, or how you're dealing with the environment that we're in now, and communicating those things in those videos. So again, because video is a really great way to get that face-to-face interaction, to get that connection. So empathy and authority. Sorry, Catherine's asking, what are those two things again? So having empathy, but still standing strong in your authority, in your expertise, being the expert in what you do, being a leader in your company, whether you're a company of 1 or you're a company of 100, showing up as a leader. That's what I mean about authority, like standing in your authority. So repackaging, so being able to communicate things like repackaging your products or services, whether it's how you deliver, how they're grouped, what your future services are going to look like or how they're going to change, and how your online services or the way you communicate online is going to change. That's a great video to make with your communication. And it's a great way to think about your business too. I know a lot of businesses are like, well, I'm not necessary and I can't do this right now. I think about the travel agents out there. I think about the hairdressers out there, just to name a few, right? And how can you repackage your services or products differently, or offer future services or products and communicate that now so you're still connecting with your audience. So let's talk tech for just a minute, because I'm not going through my normal step 1, step 2, step 3, how to make a video here today. I really want to give you ideas on how to connect and communicate. So what are you making a video on? What you make a video on whatever device you have that has the best video. So whether your computer is brand new and has a great HD built-in video, whether you have a phone that is newer or brand new and has a great built-in video audio capability, you don't need to buy anything fancy. And we talk about video production and how I translate everything to smartphone video marketing. And why I did that is because most people have a smartphone, and the cost of a smartphone is not prohibitive, because you don't need the newest, latest, greatest. You don't need to buy today's model. You can buy yesterday's model, and the video capability will be great for what we're doing, right? We're not making, big motion pictures to be shared on a big screen with an audience at the movie theater. We're just communicating and connecting. So using your smartphone. So that's your camera. What is your light? Well, my light today is my window. And what's important is you'll notice I've got this window here and I've got a shade drawn, but it's still really white. You'll notice I'm not in front of it. So I'm going to, you can see the mess behind it, but you notice I'm not doing my video like this. Now, if right now I'm using a pretty good camera, but if I did this with my smartphone, it would totally darken me to try, because it doesn't know what to keep bright and what to keep dark. So avoid sitting in front of a window. I have a whole bank of windows. So this whole wall I'm at is windows. So I'm using that light to light me right now. And if I was recording a video for my business, this is how I would do it. I would do it exactly where I am and how I'm sitting. Except the fire would be better. The fire just kind of went out, but I can't fix it. So there's just some glowing embers in there. So we've got camera. Use your camera. Use your video camera, whatever it is that you have. We've got lighting. Use natural lighting. I will answer the editing app shortly. Camera, lighting, sound. So right now, because there is going to, like normally if I'm recording a video, I would just get a wired lavalier microphone from Amazon. Amazon is great, except right now they're shipping like end of April for not necessities. So, and if it's not in their warehouse, there's some issues with Amazon delivery right now, but I just use this little microphone. So it plugs into it's a smartphone. Plugs into my smartphone. If you have an iPhone, you might need an adapter for that. And then this just clips on and I plug it in. I even have a 10-foot extension cord for it. And I use that, but your smartphone should be great if you're within 3 feet. right? If it's way on the other side of the room, then your audio is not going to be great. Or if you're functioning and looking down and doing things and looking around, then the audio might cut in or out. But typically speaking, what's on your phone is going to be good enough today. You don't wait for that Amazon order to come in. Just speak clearly, speak at a good volume, and use the audio existing on your smartphone. So we got camera, we got lighting, we got audio, and it's called a sorry, I'm looking at the comments at the same time. It's called a lavalier smartphone microphone. And how can I do this? So I will send Teresa a list of my favorite things, and she will share that with you guys, okay? So I do have a list to make it easy, because there's a whole bunch, like there's probably 300 on Amazon if you go looking. I have a list of my favorite things, and I've based that list on quality and price. So this is Smartphone Video Marketing 101. I don't want people spending $500 on equipment when you can get a great microphone for $300, but a professional microphone is, sorry, for $30 when a professional microphone is $300. So I'll send Teresa a list, and she can share that with you guys after. I'll put that list together after we hang up. So camera, so we got lights, camera, audio. Now, if you are going live, if you're gonna do your videos live and share your message, you really, really, really need to do a speed test. Why? Because right now, like I said, everybody's Zoom experience is going to be different based on their connectivity and how many people are in the house streaming and gaming. And so before you go live, and if you've got 4 or 5 people in your house and they're all streaming and they're all gaming, you'll want to do a speed test. So I've got here, for example, the best internet speed for HD streaming is 5 megabits per second up. So that doesn't sound like a big number, but if lots of people are streaming and uploading and downloading movies and doing all these things while you're trying to go live, that could affect your live stream. So it's another kind of little technical thing I wanted to share with you guys, is check your internet speed before you go live. So now what are you going to say? What are you going to talk about? Let's talk about that for a few minutes. And this is the stuff I really want to share with you guys. I've always said to really know who your audience is, really define them. Who are they? And what are their problems? And how can you solve them? But right now, people's problems are different. Pierre said, what was recommended lighting? The recommended lighting is a window, but not to, like, this is a window, but I'm not in front of this window. It's off to the side. The window needs to be putting light on you, not lighting you from behind, because then you'll be dark. So natural lighting is my preference. And because he missed that, he lost connectivity. I do have like, if you're in a dark room with no lights, or if you're in a basement and you're going to build your own little studio, again, I'm going to send a list to Teresa of a really economical but good set of lights that you can use. I think they were about $109, $119 for a set. I'll share that with you guys. But right now, we're trying to get, I want you to make a video today, right? I don't want you to wait for your Amazon order to come in. I want you guys to start with your videos today. So we're talking about your audience, the problems they have, and how you solve them. But generally speaking, problems have changed, and they're changing every single day. They may have lost a job. They may have got laid off from a job. They may be closing their business. They may be struggling in their business. They may be overloaded in their business. So my husband is a web designer, and he specializes in membership sites. So he had clients who have all of a sudden found themselves having more time, and they all want to do new courses, new membership sites, and they all want it yesterday. So everybody has a different problem right now because of what's happening. And so COVID-19 is definitely, something that needs to be addressed that we've never had to address before. And quite many of us, I know there's some that have been through others, but climbing back out of this recession-like moment or this recession-like feeling. And that is a problem that many of us in our businesses currently right now, with the technology we have today, haven't gone through. And it's something that it's a problem that people are having. So how can you help with those problems? Those are problems I didn't have to talk to you about 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. And so how can you help with these problems? And we talk about without selling. How can you help with serving? But remember, by serving, you are selling. You're selling yourself as an expert. You're selling your product or service as a solution. It might not be right now. Maybe it is. But you're definitely, and you're definitely, as business owners, we're always selling, right? We're always selling ourselves as business owners and our businesses, even if we're not selling a product or service. So how can we help right now? If you're one of those businesses, and I won't ask you to call to say yes or no or anything like that. But if you're one of those businesses that is not deemed essential and is really struggling, I kind of mentioned, for example, let's talk about if you're a hairdresser. Well, what can you offer, right? Because people's problems are different right now. What can you offer later? Can people pre-buy? You've never had to pre-sell your service before. You can pre-sell your service now, right? You can offer different solutions for people later. You can create videos, we're talking about cutting our own hair and cutting our own bangs and roots growing in and all of these things. As a hairdresser, you can still be helping and serving your clients, offering maybe a discount because people are worried about money. Maybe it's a small discount for prepaid services that you're going to bank and use later, but at least that gives you something now. So I know I was on a webinar with Donald Miller earlier today, and if you don't know who he is, he runs the Story brand, and he was talking about a plastic surgeon who's doing all of their consultations on video. They can't be doing any surgeries, but they can still be doing their consultations. So can you be doing your triage or your pre-meeting meetings and get information from your clients now who are having problems, even though you're not doing business now? So thinking just differently and sharing that in a video, sharing how it works, what it means, how it looks, and how it's going to help them. Maybe it's a quantity discount. Maybe it's a future service. Maybe it's a way for them to save time or save money or have less aggravation in the world that we live in today. But helping now via video and sharing how you're going to help is going to be an important, and standing in that authority, being the expert and having empathy, and all of those things are going to help that video connect with more people. And then, you need to share that video. You need to put it out there. So, how will your message pivot in these times is something that you need to think about. The message now needs to show how you're going to save households money, save them time, or conserve resources. Those are, generally speaking, you want to think about who your audience is and what their problem is, but you want to consider those 3 things in your messaging for sure. Now, with your communications, those are the things I want you to consider. And I'm going to switch to my PowerPoint shortly because there's some visuals I want to talk about. We talked about cameras, lights, action. I just want to talk to you a bit about framing and how to look on camera. I know my head's cut off a little bit. I think it's just because I keep leaning forward. I should go back. But typically you want people to see your hands, but I'm going to talk about framing later. Why see your hands? Because we use them to communicate. And if people are receiving that piece of communication, it's even better for connecting. But there's other ways to use video. If you have team members, whether they're still working because they're essential, whether they're working remotely, or whether they're not working right now, if you have team members, video is a really great way to communicate. And whatever you use, whether it's like Duo or FaceTime or Facebook Messenger or Zoom meetings, however that is, whatever is the easiest for your team members is definitely the way to go. But this is your time to really step up as a leader and come into those meetings being authentic, having empathy, having strength in your leadership, sharing updates, sharing where your business is at, being honest without being overly dark or without sugarcoating your situation, being positive, being real, and giving tasks if you're in a position to do that, or giving suggestions for them, or just making them feel like that you care, that they're a part of your team, even if you're not seeing each other every day. Is staying connected. It's another great way to use video. So I want you guys to consider that if you have team members, employees that work for you who are not working right now, even if they're daily check-ins. Every day at noon, we're going to do daily check-ins. You could tell them what you're doing for the business, how you're moving forward. Hey, I'm doing these series of videos, because even though we can't serve our clients right now, we can help them in this way. Maybe your team are helping you with those videos. Maybe there's someone who's like, I love Facebook Lives, and they can be the face of your company. It's up to you how you use it, but it's a really great way to use video right now. And again, whether you're one of the businesses who are running, not running, using video to build your funnel, if you haven't, and what I mean by building your funnel is getting new leads into your business. Even if you're not doing business right now at this moment, you can still be building leads. And if we think about kind of the beginning of our business, once we have the business plan done, we need to build our client list. And whether that means building followers on social media, or whether it means getting email addresses. I like getting email addresses because I don't own them because they're your email, but I own the way I communicate. If something happened and Facebook shut down the way we communicate, we kind of spent all of that time building, and then it goes away. So I like building email lists and sharing valuable information, not just selling to them, but sharing valuable information with them as time goes on. And so with the funnel, why video works so great is what I've already spoken about. People, it's just the best way, except for face-to-face, to connect with people, right? They can hear our voice, see our body language. And so it's the only other way to do that, right? It's the only way to replicate face-to-face. So using video to build your funnel is a great way to continue doing business, continue serving people, maybe not selling directly, but offering something in exchange for that email, whether maybe it's a tutorial, maybe it's a discount for later services, using it to communicate and build your list. So I want to talk a bit about framing. Framing is important because there are things about the way we frame our video, if we're doing it wrong, that may impact the viewer's experience. So being too close to the camera, not only does it cut off our body language and the way we're using our hands, but I don't know, guys, if you look at my face, does that make you feel like I'm in your bubble? It might. You might be like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't know why I don't like that, but I don't like it. It's probably because close-up video makes people, the viewers, feel like you're in their bubble. So back it up. Get that body language working for you, not against you. Get your hands in. So you can actually see my camera on the left side of this, where you can see from the table up, and then I've got a wide shot so you can see how I've actually framed myself at my office, which I very much miss at this moment. Well, my dogs are quiet, so it's okay. Okay, so putting the camera too low or too high. You want the camera about eye level, maybe like a little tiny bit higher if you feel like it's a better angle. But you know how we take selfies sometimes at a really high angle because it slims us down? We don't want to be doing that in video because it doesn't do the same thing. In fact, if you put the video, so in this case, the video is too low, I'm looking down on you. Your subconscious doesn't know why you don't resonate and connect with me right now. But or your conscious does, but your subconscious knows it's because I'm looking down at you. And that can cause unease in the viewer. And so what I was going at with, if your camera is too high and you're looking up at the camera, then as a viewer, you feel like the person who's trying to be an authority isn't, because you are looking, like the viewer is looking down on the person on camera. So the subconscious can't connect that that person is a reliable authority, expert source of information. So you want to really have it at eye level, or slightly like 5 or 10 degrees above. We already talked about this, having it being on the same level. So it's really important. I've just put a side by side here. You can see one kind of feels ich, and the other feels, it looks more professional, first of all, right? And I'm in the same office in these two snapshots. I'm in the same office, but one looks more professional. It looks more inviting. And you're not getting that unease with, is that person talking down to me like I don't understand, or is that person trying to act like an authority figure, but I'm looking down on them? Again, this is all things that are happening in subconscious. Looking at the screen instead of the lens. So as I'm talking to you guys, I've found my lens, right? I found my lens right here. It's because my finger's gonna cover it if I go too close. That's how I know it's my lens. On our phones, sometimes we have multiple little areas on our phones. So I don't know if you can see, this is just reflecting, but if you can see my lens, that little circle right there. Some people have double lenses because you've got a newer phone. So know which one, and I always do that. Before I start filming, I will put my finger up to the lens and go, okay, yeah, that's the right lens where I'm looking, because otherwise it looks like the person is looking out into nowhere land instead of looking into the eye of the viewer. Does that make sense to everyone? So if you've got your phone in front of you now, just take a look at it. Turn your video on. I'll give you a second, as long as we have time. Yeah, because I'm almost wrapped up here, but turn your video on. Just turn your camera on. I've got my camera on your phone. And it doesn't matter right now whether it's land. This is just an exercise. I want you to turn your video on and just point at the lens and make sure that you've got the right thing that you're looking at when you're doing video. So if you've got a smartphone, just turn that smartphone off, look at it, put your finger in front of the lens and go, okay, that's where I'm going to look when I do my videos. So for example, if I was looking at myself, and that's what people do, they look at their own image and they talk to their own image, but then instead of me, like I'm gonna come up a little close because I want you guys to see what I mean. Instead of me talking into the lens and looking into your eyes, which is what I want you to feel, because we can't be together right now. I want you to look into my eyes. I want you to see me. If I'm looking at myself, I'm looking down here, that drastically changes the connection we just had. So you want to stay connected to your audience. So looking at the screen and looking at yourself instead of looking at the ends is a big mistake. What you want to do is you want to look, there's my friend Tessa looking right at you, looking right into the lens, and it makes such a big difference. So shaky cam. I want to show you this as an example of shaky cam. You don't want to do that. In fact, what you want to do is get yourself a tripod. If you don't have a tripod right now, I don't want this to stop you. I want you to figure out a way to prop up your phone so your lens, not your phone, but your lens is at eye height. So you could be getting some boxes. If you don't have a tripod, sometimes people have like little desk tripods. That's going to be too low if you use that. So you want to find some boxes and get it up higher so that lens on your camera is at eye level. So using a tripod is going to prevent shaky hands. It also is going to let you, sometimes we hold our phone and then the image gets a little warped. It's going to let you to get far enough from the video so you can use your hands, so you can just sit and feel confident in speaking to the lens instead of worrying about all of this stuff. And your viewer's going to appreciate it too. I talked about lighting earlier, so I'm going to skip through this quickly. See how that light's behind him and his face is dark versus turning around and having the light on your face. It might not be perfect. We're not going for perfection here, by the way. Never going for perfection. What we're going for is authentic connection, not perfection. Don't try to be someone you're not, right? This is really important. It's your chance to shine. It's your chance to show the world who you are. It's your chance to show yourself as an expert and as a leader. So sometimes, you know, we look at other videos and we're like, oh, I want to have the confidence of that person. You know, if you've ever watched a Grant Cardone video or a Gary Vee video or Marie Forleo video, and you're like, oh, I want to be like that. I want to have that. I mean, their first video wasn't that good. And I mean, Gary Vee is, if you don't know who any of these people are, check them out. But Gary Vee is a totally different personality. I can't watch his videos. I don't connect with that. Not that he's not a great influencer and I read his books, but I don't watch his videos. But what I'm saying is, don't worry about not being perfect right away. Your first video is going to be way different than your 10th video, which is going to be way different than your 100th video. I mean, my first Zoom meeting was a disaster, right? Years ago. And even today, it's not so much about perfection. It's about connection and the information I'm sharing with you. So creating these live-like interactions is going to be an amazing way to build know, like, and trust factor, build connection, stay on people's minds so they don't forget about you. And I've made a few mistakes here. I think I said 300 for something when I meant to say 30, and I had to go back and correct myself. I'm sure there's been times where I've had to look over here to see my PowerPoint. You know, again, it's not about perfection. It's not don't worry about small mistakes. You can always do better, but don't let non-perfect, like if you're doing, like, say, a pre-recorded video, don't let the fact that it's not perfect prevent you from sharing it. That's the biggest mistake you can make. You'll get better in the way you communicate and the way you create your videos. But if you never put a video out, if you're always waiting for you to look better, sound better, be better, then you're missing so many connections. You're missing a way to stay at the front of people's minds and relevant when you could be really taking advantage. Because we're all on our computers right now. We're all on Facebook right now. We're spending more time on social media than we ever have before. And we really want connection with other people, right? And so do that. Just do it. Just use what you've learn some more, and get going.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, Angela. And thank you everybody for being on here. Hopefully we'll have some fun playing with video over the next few weeks. And then we will get back to you because we will start planning how to edit video 101 kind of thing. Because I think that's very useful. It's good to know all the tools and everything, but what would be really useful is let's learn how to put all these little videos together. So I'd love that. So thanks. Take care. Thank you, Angela.